May 18th of 2022, she does do something that I can't even excuse. The drunk driving incident. The morning of May 18th, 2022, at around 8 a.m., it's also a Wednesday, witnesses reported seeing a Land Rover driving erratically down a busy street in Gangnam. They called the police about it. The street is not that wide, the street that she's on, so it's pretty packed. Nobody really speeds here. But Sarah, she's speeding. CCTV footage shows a Land Rover going down the intersection, turning into the road, swerving, narrowly missing a tree, hitting a small guardrail, then slamming into a tree, and finally colliding with one of those electricity transformers. The car is seen hitting the transformer more than 3 times.
And then more than 3 times.
Like it just like keeps hitting things as they're trying to like leave. And then it just drives off eventually, like nothing happened. And I'm smiling because I'm uncomfortable. Like why would you do that?
She left.
She just left. And like clearly she's drunk, because I think anyone who's sober and does a hit and run, especially in a place like Korea, I'm like, that doesn't even make sense. There's no thought in here, because what are you talking about? You're gonna get caught.
Yeah.
Like, she just drove off, like she didn't even just cause an accident, blatantly leaving the scene of a crime. Police were quick to catch up with her. They pull her over, and they can smell the alcohol. She denies doing a breath test, so they take her to the hospital, and they do a blood test, and her alcohol content level was 0.2%. Which I hate the way that alcohol is like measured, because to me, what does 0.2% mean? It sounds like a small number. So I'm like, it's not even 1%. It's not that bad. Hee hee, right? Mm-hmm. Typical effects of this level, like 0.2 to 0.25%, loss of consciousness, non-responsiveness, respiratory distress, cardiac distress, lack of comprehension, severely impaired mental, physical, sensory functions. Literally, the ranking above it is 0.25 to 0.39 is straight up coma and risk of death.
Oh, jeez.
So she's messed up, honestly, and she committed several crimes: driving under the influence, fleeing the scene of the crime, destruction of public property. Sarah was arrested, and she was facing now 2 to 5 years in prison and a fine of $15,000.
Wow.
Honestly, I think it very much helped that she did not hit a pedestrian or, God forbid, a kid, because the accident happened a quarter mile from a high school, less than half a mile from an elementary school. She's like near school zones. If she had driven a bit faster or a few more minutes before crashing, she could have hit a student, because it's around 8 a.m. on a Wednesday when kids are typically walking to school. The road, again, isn't that wide, so there's a guardrail, and the pedestrians aren't walking that far from the actual streets. So thankfully, she didn't hit anyone, but she did hit an electricity transformer, which was pretty bad. The transformer was responsible for delivering electricity to a total of 60 businesses on that street, and because she hit it, 60 businesses lost power for like an hour. The intersection traffic lights also lost power. And I believe, yes, okay, an hour doesn't sound like a lot, but it was a lot. The impact of it was really bad, because since COVID, a lot of businesses in Korea have been struggling to stay open. Close to 1 million small mom and pop business owners had to close down because of COVID. So now every 30 minutes, every minute of not being open and not making money, I mean, that's the difference of, are you gonna make rent this month?
So a lot of people lost money because of her.
Lots of money because of her, like 60 businesses. And the transformer could have easily exploded, which would have put more human lives in danger. So the same day, Sarah disabled her Instagram comments, and a storm was released.
But this is Wednesday, 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Does that mean like she's been drinking all night long?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is, yeah, she definitely has an alcohol problem for sure. I'm pretty certain in the US most DUI accidents happen Saturday night. But like Wednesday, 8 a.m.,
that's interesting. Wow.
Yeah, it's a very interesting time. So there were initial reports that there was another person in the car that was unnamed. We still don't know. It seems like there wasn't, but there's rumors that there was. And that made this case go even more viral, because Sarah is close with 3 female celebrities, and all of them kind of fit the profile of being young female in their 20s.
That's the person described to be in the car.
Yeah.
Young female in their 20s.
Yeah, so they were like, oh my God, was there another celebrity involved? You know, and then these celebrities were getting backlash, and it was just really messy. And I feel like at this point, Sarah could have followed the celebrity cancellation handbook, which there's basically one in Korea. For celebrities caught in DUI scandals, the playbook is keep apologizing, do a 90-degree bow for the media at least twice during your apology speech, lay low for approximately 5.9 months, that is the average period for DUI scandals, don't post on social media, don't get caught outside having fun. If you're outside, look super depressed, okay? You're basically on house arrest. It's a way to show the public that you are spending this time so ashamed you can't even show your face to the world, so disgusted with yourself that you locked yourself in your room, not using your phone, not entertaining yourself, to sit there like a monk and just contemplate what you have done. Are these celebrities really doing that? Definitely not, but that's the vibe. You need to look miserable and regretful. That's the playbook. Come back with some philanthropic purpose and then go back to work like nothing ever happened in 7 months' time. That's what a lot of the male actors caught with DUIs did. But Sarah made a few very big mistakes. First PR mistake, according to netizens, was she hired 6 attorneys to represent her for the DUI. Listen.
What?
Because the thing within Korea's a little bit different too. You know, like in America, it's like, okay, I always tell you guys, lawyer up. I don't care what it is. A cop comes to your door, lawyer up, point blank, that's it. In Korea, you know, with a crime like this, it's kind of tuck your tail and get the consequences. Like, what is there to fight? You did the crime. Like, why do you need 6 attorneys? You're the criminal. It's not a he said, she said. It's not a two-party fight. Like, you're a criminal. What are you doing? And the 6 attorneys, out of them, they're all like big shot attorneys. Super expensive. The general public cannot afford these level of attorneys.
But why 6? I'm so confused.
That's what I'm saying.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so she wouldn't have to face jail time. But still, the 6 attorneys just was not a good look. It was just like really gross to a lot of people. And on top of that, her main attorney was a former prosecutor and chief of the 5th Division of the Incheon District Prosecutor's Office at one point. So these are some big names in that world. She paid a lot of money for representation, and a lot of netizens were irked by this. They're thinking, must be so nice to be rich and get away with whatever crime you commit in broad daylight. Yeah, it just felt like overkill. But you know what? This one, out of all the PR blunders that the netizens hated, I would say this one is probably like a neutral one for me. I think it's just a bit goofy, but I'm not necessarily like, oh, she's so shady. Just like, this feels like overkill. But I guess they did their thing because she did get off with no jail time and only a $14,000 fine. But the next PR mistake comes when the lawyer starts talking. You would think that, I mean, she probably paid him so much money, he would be a good attorney, right? But he made a statement. He said, Kim Sarah is supporting her family as the head of the household. After the accident, not only did Sarah, but also Sarah's family, they're all suffering from financial difficulties. Sarah paid a large amount of compensation after the crime in this case, resulting in financial difficulties. And then a lot of netizens felt 2 things. The first being, and so what about it? Sorry, you reap what you sow. You commit a crime. These are the consequences of your actions. I'm so sorry. You have to be like us and pay for the damages. Like, what do you mean? Meanwhile, the other half were like, what do you mean she's the breadwinner? Her mom is only 43 years old and her parents are so young. Why aren't they supporting themselves? Why are they mooching off of her 22-year-old daughter? And what do you mean she's out of money? Like, how much money could she blow through? Because she's been acting since she's 9. That's like a decade plus of her career. Now, here's where it gets wild though. Sarah went along with it and she started posting pictures of herself working at a bakery. What? She stated the $14,000 fine was too expensive, and she said that she had to compensate 59 businesses that lost business because of her. I don't think that she had to pay too much, because if it was a crazy figure, I'm sure her attorneys would have let us know. Like, guys, she owes like millions of dollars, you know? I think they would have said it. I think it was like another like 15,000, which, don't get me wrong, is life-changing money, but she's a child star. It's not like bankrupting her.
Why do I feel like she paid most money to the lawyer?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think that's where all the money went with this.
Yeah.
So she posts these pictures of her working at this bakery.
Her message is like, I got a job.
Her message is like, I got a job because I can't work anymore. You guys canceled me. Like, I made a mistake. I paid all the fees and fines. I'm not trying to not pay it. I paid it. And now you hate me, so I can't work. So I'm working at a bakery. People were like, okay,
most of us work at bakeries. Are we supposed to feel bad for you?
What is the message here? They wrote, if you're so busy working, why are you posing for pictures? Or who's taking these pictures? They also pointed out some weird inconsistencies. For example, she's wearing gloves, but she's touching her hair. They're like, that would get you fired at a bakery. There's another one where she's not wearing a hat or a net in her hair while she's baking baked goods, which again breaks a bunch of violations. So people are like, that doesn't make sense. It also looked like she was working for a franchise because she was at one point like at the counter checking someone out, and the bags say Mega Coffee, which is a franchise. Well, Mega Coffee, the franchise, came out and said she's actually never worked for us, so I don't know what that's about. But her friend, one of her childhood friends, was a part-time worker, but she quit.